Pleased to join you today for this consultative forum between the executive and the constitutional commissions and independent offices. It is a demonstration of our administration's determination to strengthen cooperation, collaboration, and partnership with all state agencies as envisaged in the Constitution. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, delivering development as underpinned by the bottom-up economic transformation agenda requires input from all players. There is no development specifically for the executive, the legislature, the judiciary, or the CCIOs. We only have one development plan of transforming Kenya together. The executive values the work of the CCIOs in socio-economic development, especially in bringing balance through objective oversight. But a lame or struggling institution cannot check the excesses of the executive in the spirit of promoting transparency and accountability for public good. It will be prone to manipulation and interference in its decisions. President William Ruto has on a number of occasions said that constructive criticism of his administration will enable him to deliver better on the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. It is a requirement for democracy, rule of law, and ultimately good governance. Joining you for this conversation, therefore, is a step towards vibrant CCIOs established on solid and sound structures in fulfillment of the Constitution. Indeed, at the end of this forum, we look forward to development and adoption of the framework of cooperation and engagement between the national government, the county governments, and the CCIOs. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, while the executive, the legislature, the judiciary, constitutional commissions, and independent offices are autonomous in the discharge of their mandates, we converge on transforming the socio-economic lives of our single employer, the people of Kenya. On this basis, we have no choice but to partner and consolidate our program and project interventions on development. This will be achieved through creation of a complementary ecosystem as opposed to fractured and segmented approaches to development. Indeed, Goal 16 of Agenda 2030 underscores the importance of strong and effective institutions in building peaceful and inclusive societies. Such regular consultations are not only for receiving feedback, but also understanding our individual strengths and strategizing together. Our destiny is defined. We cannot afford disjointed strategies. On this note, I want to acknowledge the importance of CCIOs in data collection and reports at the various thematic areas. It will be more impactful when you align your strategic plans and priorities to the better plan. While we assure you of autonomy in your work, we encourage truth premised on objectivity and sanctity of data as opposed to alarmist subjective reports. This will help us make the necessary adjustments. Again, as directed by the Executive Order number 2, we are ready to work with you in implementation of recommendations of your reports. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we are aware that one of the key issues that impairs optimal performance of CCIOs is limited funding. Past allocation in some cases have only made the basic operational needs of CCIOs as opposed to substantive projects and programs. When staff draw salaries without work, it is a short change to the taxpayer. There is no value on investment. In the current financial year, we have increased allocation of the CIOs as opposed to the previous financial year. Because we want to promote financial independence, we'll continue working with the legislature to ensure more funds to enable you implement programs complementing our development plan. This is alongside review of laws and other frameworks to strengthen your mandates. Progressive increment of funding is possible given that our economy has stabilized and is now on an upward trajectory. My office is ready to work with you as outlined by the Executive Order number 2 of 2023 and other frameworks that direct us to collaborate for efficiency and effectiveness in service delivery. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as we meet here today, terms of office for a number of commissioners in some CCIOs are ending soon. Such leadership gaps, if not addressed, will hamper discharge of the mandates of the CCIOs. While the law provides for the procedures of appointment of commissioners and other senior officers, we are ready to work with you in unlocking any possible delays to expedite the process through the requisite state agencies. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to confirm and affirm the Executive's commitment to close working relations with constitutional commissions and independent offices. It is a requirement that we commit to fulfill. Let me thank you for your availability for this meeting. We value your feedback and look forward to an enriching conversation. It is now my pleasure to declare this consultative forum officially open. And this opportunity on behalf of the President, my boss, confirm that his administration has total and tremendous respect for independent offices and the constitutional commissions. You know, the first act of President William Ruto when he was sworn in office on 13th September in 2022 was to restore the independence of the judiciary. His first act that very afternoon was to gazette the judges who had been approved by JSC and had not been gazetted, and the following day they were sworn in, and I was there. So I remember. Because we respect independent institutions. Number two is to give financial autonomy to the National Police Service. The Inspector General of Police is the accounting officer of all monies given to the police so that he is not controlled from anywhere else. Because there is a saying that he who pays the piper calls the tune. So the police are independent. They have their own money to do what they want to do. The Chief Justice is here. She has a hotline. She can confirm that President William Ruto has never called her any day to rule, to have the judiciary determine a matter favorable to government. The judiciary has given many rulings that have made our life very difficult. But despite that, we respect the independence of the judiciary. And that is why we have even upscaled the budgetary provision to the judiciary to give them more funds to dispense justice to the people of Kenya. The president has never called the DPP to say charge so and so, don't charge so and so. The president has never called the Auditor General to say, I want you to order this or that report that has an indictment against one of my PSs. And that is the way it should be. And we'll continue to respect independent institutions and allow them to do their work. Where there are issues, we will reach out. And when we had a big problem with the judiciary, in our view, and we thought the judiciary was making it difficult for us to implement the plan, we are grateful that in the spirit of this framework, the Chief Justice and the JSC reached out, and we had a good conversation. Not to interfere with their independence, no, just for us to engage and raise our concerns. And they raise their concerns as well. And that is the way it should be. When we engage, it is not that any of us want to encroach on your independence. It is good for people to talk. Because when people talk, they clear things that can create a serious misunderstanding when it is not necessary. So I want to confirm that the executive will continue to respect independent offices, to respect your independence, and will continue to the extent possible to facilitate your work through provision of adequate resources. And where we have challenges in terms of giving you adequate resources, we'll create a forum to explain to you the challenges that we are facing. So we also, in the same manner, appeal to you also to facilitate our work, oversight government, criticize positively, suggest where we can do better, correct us where we are wrong, but of course with facts and with good intention, and we shall comply. We are more than ready. And I think we also want to be oversighted so that we can have good governance. Oversight is good, and we want to encourage. And that is why the President initiated a suggestion to Parliament that is now being worked on, that we create by law the office of the Leader of Official Opposition and fund that office, give that office staff and researchers so that they can put the government in check in a dignified manner. Instead of going to the streets, just go to Parliament. Our administration has adopted continuous engagement as the modus operandi of our governance. And the President and I believe that continuous engagement is good for any institution and is good for this country. When we found instances where independent offices and constitutional commissions are in conflict and they start an all-out war in the press, we confuse the people of Kenya and they get lost. Let us use this framework. Where there are issues, please let our office know so that we call you and we listen and we try to create a framework for engagement. We have had some nasty exchanges between the Office of the Attorney General and the Public Service Commission. It is unnecessary. Within this framework, whatever issues that are creating a misunderstanding between any office and another, we can settle. We have had issues between the Teacher Service Commission and the Ministry of Education. My office has put the two together and discussions are ongoing and we have made very good progress so that we avoid confusing the people of Kenya, where people who are supposed to work together to collectively deliver services, deliver justice, deliver leadership to the people of Kenya, we are fighting each other. We have had nasty exchanges that are necessary between the Inspector General of Police and the Police Service Commission. Over the press, we have put the two offices together, the Constitutional Commission, that is a Police Service Commission, and the Inspector General of Police, and already discussions are going on and we have made very good progress. We have had exchanges between the Controller of Budget and the Council of Governors. It is unnecessary. Within this framework that the President in his wisdom put together at the presidency, where the Council of Governors feels that probably the service delivery to the people who put them in office is being affected because of certain decisions the Controller of Budget has made. Instead of an all-out war there, please let us utilize this framework. And the Controller of Budget and the Council of Governors, we put them together and we can have a discussion. There has been issues between the National Treasury and the Controller of Budget. I want to appeal that this mechanism is available to all of us to be able to have a good discussion. We have had issues between the Parliamentary Service Commission and the Judicial Service Commission, where Parliament feels that the judiciary is encroaching on the independence of Parliament. And in many cases, we have taken each other to court. And the folly of it all is that when one of government takes another arm of government to court, both lawyers are paid by the public, the same public that we serve. We are here talking about limited resources. We are here talking about a very tight fiscal space. We are here saying we don't have money for development. We don't have money to buy you vehicles. Yet, you take one arm of government to court, you pay lawyers. They engage lawyers. But the one paying both lawyers on both sides is the same person, the people of Kenya. And it's not fair. It's very unfair to the people of Kenya that we are having a challenge in terms of revenue collection to get enough money to give services to the people of Kenya, to pay salaries, to make sure that every institution is fulfilling its mandate. Then, because we have a difference that is really not personal, I want to urge from this retreat that we all agree that it is not necessary for one office to take another to court and we hire lawyers to be paid by the public.